Hello, friends. Welcome back to my channel. I am recording from Saigon, also known as Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam. I hope you can see all of the motorcycles right now. This is constant. It's kind of crazy. Before we get started, I picked up a delicious taro coffee. It's melting, so we're gonna have that to drink. The ice is already melting. This is crazy, the heat. It's actually 100 degrees out today. I'm not even exaggerating. That is literally how hot it is out. It tastes kind of like Fruity Pebbles. I must say I'm not like a huge fan. Y'all, there is so much noise happening outside right now. This is crazy. So, the last day that we were in the Philippines was bonkers. And I think I talked about it a little bit in my last video, but basically we had applied for our visas on the Thursday prior to coming to Vietnam. And so we really gave ourselves 3 business days for our visas to go through, which was honestly like we were fucking assholes. We forgot. We simply forgot. Tuesday rolls in. Our flight's at 10 p.m. We're supposed to get to Vietnam a little after midnight. We've been checking our visas. We knew we were really risking it. I was checking for my visa like every hour. No, it was Tuesday. We had to fly out that night and we still hadn't gotten our visas approved. I started Googling what the options were, keeping in mind that it was going to be past midnight by the time that we would arrive to Vietnam. At one point, G mentioned that the airline wasn't going to let us board the flight if we didn't have a visa. And so we were like, fuck, what are our options? I came across a Reddit thread, believe it or not, and Reddit suggested we go through a third-party visa service. Fortunately for us, because we'd already filed the week prior, all we really needed to pay for was to have our visas expedited. We ended up paying $120 each. The company that we went through was Vietnam E-Visa Pro. I don't exactly know what it is they do or how they do it. I think it was 5 p.m. and we got approved for our visas through the immigration service. We were so grateful that we went through that service. And for anybody that is struggling to get their visas on time, I highly recommend this group. Everything went really smoothly. There was a point where I was like, oh my God, is this a scam? G and I really struggled, but we were also like, this is our only option. Like, if we don't do this, if we don't get our visas by tonight, we won't be able to board the flight. There also is another option for those who want to get a visa on arrival, but you do have to get like a pre-approval form filed. And we just didn't have time for that, right? It definitely was well worth the $120. And it also was just like a really good lesson for us to not wait until the very last minute to file our visas. Girl, that was fucking crazy. We had booked our Airbnb really close to the airport, so we actually just walked across a sky bridge and we were at the airport, which was really dope. Once we got there, we found out that our flight was delayed due to an aircraft issue, and so we ended up flying out Manila. I want to say 1 a.m. We got to Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City around 3 a.m. By the time that we made it to our homestay, it was 4 a.m. So we booked our room through Booking, and I really recommend this homestay. It's super cute. The guy who runs it is so fucking kind. We just got a Grab to pick us up from the airport, and I think we ended up paying like $5. It was like a 20 to 30-minute drive. Grab is an application that we downloaded when we were in Manila. It's like Uber, essentially. We grabbed a Grab and we arrived here at 4 a.m. The place that we're staying at is in District 1. It's a cute 1-bedroom studio, but there's like a cool divider between the bedroom and the living space. So this place is super cozy. It's really close to everything. Getting into like main District 1, using Grab, we can get there in like 7 to 10 minutes depending on traffic. So it's super close, but it's far enough from the chaos and the tourism that we really like it. We like the spot. Really cool spot. Definitely recommend it. Yeah. It's Fruity Pebbles, bro. I'm not down. What have we been doing in Vietnam? The first couple of days we were actually booked solid. G has a cousin that lives here that moved here 15 years ago. He's a chef. He kind of showed us around and took us to different places to eat. He also took us to really cool bars. We spent the first couple of days with him, which which was really fun. He also gave us his point of view as a Mexican living in Vietnam, which was really interesting. Super grateful that we had a connection here that could really show us some really cool local gems. So the first couple days we hung out with him, and then on Friday we just made that Netflix day. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if any of you have seen the Netflix series Street Food Asia, but there is an episode on Ho Chi Minh City, and we ended up going to the banh mi stand that is popular because of Netflix. And that night we ended up going to a pho spot that was also really fucking delicious. Best chicken pho I've ever had. I really enjoyed that Netflix day. The weekend and yesterday, we've done something every day, but we've also been trying to take it easy just because we're heading back home soon. One of the nights we went to the Ho Chi Minh Square in District 1, which is just like a tiny little Times Square, like a tiny little plaza area where tourists and also locals just go and hang out. There's like food stands, there's karaoke, there's dogs, there's everything you can think of. People are dancing. It was really cool to just walk around and be among everyone. There's a bunch of lights. Another one of the nights we went to Book Street, which naively we thought we were going to be able to find books. Actually, I did end up finding a book, so I'm not even going to talk shit. But the majority of the books were in Vietnamese. It was really cool to go to. I ended up picking up Invisible Trade. Is a really cool book that I actually am already almost done with because it's so good. Another one of the days we went to Ben Tan Market, which is a really big, really popular public market where you can buy just about anything you can think of. I definitely recommend going. We had lunch there on the day that we went. So for the food, it was worth the experience. Girl, I picked up some glasses. They're bootlegged as fuck, but they're so cute. I'm sorry, who is she? I don't know her. No, but these are so fucking cute, right? They were $4. We also checked out the Vinh Nghiem Buddhist temple, or as they call them here, pagoda. It was a really beautiful temple. I think that day we were just looking for something chill to do, and that was the perfect place to go. And then on our last full day in Saigon, we ended up booking a tour. It's called the Mekong Delta Four Islands Tour. I think we ended up paying like 22 US dollars for half day of entertainment. The tour took us to a different province. The tour included a Buddha temple with 3 giant Buddhas. The tour also took us to different orchards to sample some of the local fruit, to listen to some of the local music, to try some local honey. We also went to a coconut farm. They also provided lunch with fish and chicken and spring rolls and all kinds of good, delicious food. We did get to ride a traditional sampan, which is one of those really pretty rowing boats. That was one of the highlights of that tour, to be honest. The food was okay. The fruit was also really good, and talking to local people was also really fun. That was yesterday, and then today we've just kind of been hanging around the apartment. We're gonna go get some banh mi after I film this video. I still gotta pack as per usual, and then tonight we're gonna go say goodbye to G's cousin. Bro, I am so glad I've got this little microphone because there's no way you guys could hear me with all of the commotion going on outside. Overall, I love it here. I love Vietnam. I love the food. I love the people. Back to the food. The food is amazing. I mean, they have a really big coffee cafe culture here, and so it's been really fun as a coffee connoisseur myself. I've loved trying all of the different foods, and I'm not a huge dessert person, but I have become a dessert person as I've been traveling because I've been trying different desserts from different places. The food here is just incredible. We've tried so much food. There's a lot of street food, way more street food here than I saw in the Philippines. Just like a big street food scene. It reminds me a lot of Mexico's street food scene. Bitch, I had spring rolls every motherfucking day. That shit is fire. We tried the banh mi, we tried different fuzz, we've tried the broken rice dish. We've tried different dishes, different noodle dishes, different vegetable dishes. I love the food here. I love the coffee here. I love the people. The people are really nice. On the very first day that we ventured out into that, we were not sure when to cross the street because it was green for us, but the cars were still going. And this old man sitting on his lawn chair on the sidewalk was like, go. And then we're like, but there's like cars. And he was like, go, go. And so we kind of started going slowly, and we realized, oh, that's how fucking people That's how people cross sidewalks here. Like, crossing a street in Vietnam is an experience, truly and honestly. People here are all really nice and inviting, and they all want to give you food or invite you into their shop. As far as safety goes, it has felt pretty safe. We've been walking late at night at times. There's never been a time where I feel like I have to be extra cautious. I've never felt unsafe out here. There's a very low crime rate. It is a communist country, and so there are different ways of living and existing in this country, especially if you are living here versus just a tourist. I think the weather is been one of the challenges out here just because it's fucking hot. It's fucking humid as fuck. Luckily, there's air conditioning in most places, but when you're going out to eat at the street food vendors, it can be really, really hot. There's definitely been times where I'm just sitting in my own pool of sweat because it just be like that. Seeing as this is the last country that we're going to be at, I feel like we've just had to be okay with it and just push through. It's been fine. There's something about Vietnam. I don't know. The energy is just very inviting, very exciting. I've really enjoyed my time here. I think if I'm disappointed in anything, it's just not having any friends here. I mean, we had G's cousin. We're really grateful that he showed us around, but I would have loved to enjoy this beautiful city with somebody that is from here because I just feel like there's so much more to the city. There is a lot of English speakers in District 1, but you also ran into a lot of people that don't speak English. And after a while, it is hard, although you can use Google Translate. I think it's hard to maintain like a good back and forth conversation with someone if you're using a translation app. People are really eager to want to help or really eager to want to talk with you and like know who you are, where you're from. Had a lot of people just ask us, where are you from? It's just like a really inviting country, and we're really glad we came here. Another disappointment is just not really having the energy or the time to leave Saigon. The island side to Vietnam is really beautiful, but it's also pretty far. When we went to the place to book our tour, there were other tours that were offering like really beautiful island tours, but we didn't have time. G and I have definitely felt like Vietnam is one of those places where we could see ourselves coming back. And then lastly, just because I love talking about my personal growth throughout this journey, this is it. This is the last country. This is the end of our crazy travel adventures. We were out here for 5 months, and it's definitely time. We're very ready to go home. It feels bittersweet. We're talking percentages here. I think 70% of me is really excited to go home, but there's 30% of me who is a little sad. I have been feeling tired. It takes a lot of effort to have to plan your day and plan where you're going to eat and make sure that you're getting what you need. I feel like we were able to find a balance between resting and also being out in the town. I think there was one day where G and I were so tired, and so we ended up ordering food in and we watched our favorite anime, Oku. We could rest and stay in, and that was much needed. And we found balance between being out and being in. But I think, yeah, like similarly to the Philippines, it's time. We're ready. We're ready to go home. We're ready to pack our bags for good and not feel like we're living out of a suitcase. Ironically, I'm going to be living out of a suitcase for the next month because I'm going to be living with my parents until I can move in with G in June, just because G's got a couple of roommates in his house that their lease ends in June. And so we figured it'd be best if I could just wait until June to move in with him. Halfway through our trip, I did have a mini breakdown. I was thinking a lot of things and starting to bring a lot of pressure and a lot of stress to myself. I think it was really helpful to talk things through with G because sometimes when I am kind of in my head about these things and I write, I just get more in my head about these things. I talk these things through with G and he offers alternatives or he gives me his point of view. I'm able to see things outside of my own views and ideas and what I can afford because he brings things to the table too. And so it was really helpful to have that conversation with him. I'm feeling much more hopeful and excited and supported as we go back home. I think there's a lot that I'm going to be processing in the next however, I don't know how long I'm going to be processing everything that I've learned on this trip. I love just people watching and seeing people going to work or going to school. The place that we're staying at has a coffee shop. And it's nice to see the younger generation, how they're existing. It just gives you so much perspective. I've been reading a lot. I've been learning about Vietnamese history, just talking to G's cousin and like how he came out here by himself. It helps me to see these different ways of existing in the world. I've been feeling really inspired. There's been nights where I just like can't sleep because I've got all of these ideas and I'm writing them down in my notes app of things that I could do for work, things that I could do for you name it, anything that I've just been feeling really inspired out here. There is some fear in me that I'm not going to be able to find a job right away or that it's going to be really hard to adjust to life back in the US. I'm not super excited to go back to the US. I think the US is chaos right now. I'm really worried that I'm going to be sucked back into that world because the way of living in the US is this routine of working and stress and staying indoors and not going out, not exploring. I'm a little nervous to go back home, but the US is the place I call home. And for now, it is the place that is calling me to go back to. Having come out here has really allowed me to see the world and see life differently. And so I'm really excited to see what comes of all of this new energy. And so what's next? We fly out of Vietnam tonight. We fly into Japan where we'll have a 9-hour layover, explore Japan one last time before flying back to the US. I've got a lot of exciting ideas for this YouTube channel. I've been a YouTube girly for over 10 years. Like I've been on YouTube for a very long time. I think something that deterred me from making YouTube videos was this idea of how I thought I needed to make content. But while I've been on this trip, I've realized that I can participate in content creation in whatever way, shape, and form that I want. I don't want to sit here and tell people what to do just because I personally don't like watching YouTubers who are like, you need to do this and blah, blah, blah. I think we all come with different baggage and different experiences. Be another voice on the YouTube sphere that talks about my personal experiences as a 32-year-old Latina living in Seattle. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this little mini series of traveling and leaving the country. Continue to watch and subscribe as I navigate coming back to the US. I think I want to talk about what it took to prepare for a trip like this, how much money we spent on a trip like this, what I regret, what I wish we could have done differently. There's so many ideas that I have for this YouTube channel, so I hope that you guys stick around and let me know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to watch, because I feel like I've really enjoyed making these YouTube videos, and I really want to keep making content in the ways that I see fit for my life and in the ways that I enjoy. There's a way in which we think we need to do content creation or participate on the internet, but honestly, you can do whatever the fuck you want, bitch. That's it for Vietnam. That's it for my journey. My next video, I'm hoping can post in the next couple of weeks. I'm sure a lot of things are going to come up, especially living at my parents' house for a couple weeks. And I hope you guys stick around. I want y'all to listen.
This is what we're working with. This is what we're